Hello everyone, welcome to Just Invest Today. And today we're going to be talking about Bill Ackman, the guru value investor. He made a proposal that every child should get $6,750 by the time they're born. And this is going to cost the government around $26 billion if the government actually did something like this. And he's doing this because the big wealth inequality in the world and what's going on right now and like these times right now, how the rich are getting richer and the poor are not making any money during these times. And he said that over time, this is going to help the wealth inequality and the gap to close down on that because the poor are not getting any richer. And this is due to the fact that wages are not increasing. And think about it, capitalism is all about investing in your future. And what the smart people know is that you gotta put your money into these companies and you can see your money grow into the future. And a lot of poor people don't know about financial health and what to do with their money when they actually get a little bit. So they start spending it, which is very bad. So he says that if the government does this, then you don't have to touch your money. They're gonna force you not to touch your money. You're gonna have $6,750 by the time you were born, and by the time you get to 65, you're gonna have at least $1 million already saved up for your retirement, and you're not allowed to touch this money. And when you think about this, it's actually a pretty solid plan to do, even if the government didn't do this. I wish parents and people knew more about this because say your parents actually put $6,750 by the time you were born and they didn't allow you to touch it. They put like $1,000 maybe yearly. If they put $1,000 yearly into this account, by the time you're 18, you already have around $60,000. So that's gonna get you ahead so quickly in life because that money saved, you can do so much with it. And if a lot of people knew about compounding, if your money compounded at 8% when you put $6,750 into it, and maybe you put $1,000 annually, which is, I think that's doable, by the time you're 18, you already have $60,000 plus. So people can't really see long term, and this is the problem with like the poor population, and we want to keep spending money very quickly. We don't think about that long term view because we got to understand the holy grail to investing. The holy grail to investing is time. Money has to compound at 8% yearly. That's the average, or 7% yearly. That's the average. So that compounding is going to take time, it takes years and years. So the faster you put your money into it, that means the more time you have to compound that money over time. And that's what's going to get you rich. And then the amount of money you put in is a key factor to wealth growth. So the amount of money you put in yearly or monthly or whatever, it can even be $5, $10, $15. Like that's a lot of money. Over time, that gathers if you do not touch the money and you just have it saving there. So those are two key factors. And then the last key factor is the compounded interest on the money that you put into the fund. And that's going to be averaging around 7%. That's what the global market has been doing in the US and in the TSX and the Toronto Stock Exchange. So 7% is pretty good. And this is going to be an account where you cannot touch. And it's just a savings account, basically. So you're not allowed to touch this money. It's going to grow into the future. And by the time you're 18 or by the time you're 62, then you can touch that money and you have a huge head start in life. So I kind of like this idea of what Bill Ackman's talking about. But I think implementing it is kind of hard because it's not really the government's responsibility. I wish it was to actually help and fix these issues that are in the community or in the world right now, because that would be a huge benefit. Unless we teach this to the parents, just have $2,000 into this fund and you don't touch it for 18 years. Can you imagine? Or even 30 years, you're not allowed to touch it. That's gonna grow like rapidly and quickly. You don't People don't understand how much that's gonna like benefit the kid when he's ready to like touch the money, when he's ready to go out into the world and do what he wants. So that would help wages, that would help the wealth inequality by a huge margin and a huge factor. What are your thoughts on this? What if every parent knew that when you're about to have a kid, you invest like 6,000 or you put 5,000 down for the kid, and you hold it into a little fund that you're not allowed to touch for 18 plus years, and you put $1,000 in it annually, and you can leave it around to someone's 18 or 65 until their retirement, one of those two ages. I think that's an amazing idea. Tell me what you think about this, because the statistics of wealth inequality has been going crazy, especially during this time. Well, investors are making a lot of money, and people who can invest, the poor, are not knowing about this, and their wages aren't going up. It's been pretty much stagnated for the last like 5-10 years. So what do you guys think? The EPI reports that between 1979 and 2019, the top 1% of earners enjoyed 160% of income growth. Over the past 30 years, the average balance in retirement accounts of the top 10% of the wealthiest U.S. households increased to $950,000, while the balances for the bottom 50% increased roughly $19,000, according to a 2019 survey of consumer finance by the Federal Reserve.
The United States of America is a bit like the kind of companies we target, right? It's a phenomenal business, but it's been undermanaged for a long period of time, and it needs to be managed more effectively. And we need to create the right incentives to grow the pie for the benefit of everyone.
This is why it's so important to understand the power of investing. Remember, time is on your side. How much percent you're going to compound yearly, and the amount of money you put in. So all those factors will increase your chances of success down the future. So when people teach these things and teach investing, it's so important to know, because we got to provide for the next generation of your kids and future kids in the future. So remember this. Investing for your future is so important that we have to keep it going and going. If you guys like this video, can you please like it? Please subscribe to my channel, and I want to hear what you guys think about this. Peace.